Stitch Cuties, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Julie.
And together we're the mother-daughter duo of Stitches of Love. Welcome to the next video in this series for the Bloomin Basics Sew Along. We are now getting into like the meaty stuff of the series.
The fun part.
This particular video is my favorite part of Appliqué.
Yep, she does love this part.
I love doing this. So what we're going to do in this video is build our Appliqué units. So if you're familiar with building Appliqué units, you already know that it makes your appliqué so much easier and so much more accurate. If you've never worked with appliqué units before, you're going to be like, I don't understand the big deal. But wait, until you actually do it, you're going to just change your mind and fall in love with it.
It's wonderful.
For years, Mom talked about build appliqué units, and I was like, I just don't see the added value. And then I started doing it, and I was like, oh, Mom's right.
Mom was right.
Love
it when Mom's right.
So I hope that you will embrace building appliqué units as well. And you want to add anything before we get started?
No, just have fun with it.
And
don't worry, if you make a mistake, you can fix it.
Well, that's the great thing of building an appliqué unit. If you make a mistake, you find it before you put it on your fabric and stitch. So it's great. I love it. Okay, so with some more magic camera angles, we're gonna get going. Okay, so within your pattern, you are gonna turn to the third page that has the machine appliqué instruction. So the first step is to get your area set up with your favorite notions, or what we refer to as the perfect stack. So I have my light pad, I have my appliqué glass mat, I have my fusing mat. Off to this side, I have my iron, and then I have my Steady Betty off to the side. I have a Pigma pin, little pair of tweezers, a little trash bowl, and then I have all my appliqué pieces. So the first thing that we're going to do is create 4 different piles of our appliqué pieces, right? So I'm just gonna take a look at the front of the pattern. I'm going to open my little bag of pieces, and I'm gonna create 4 piles. So I know that I have 2 of these in each block. Then I'm gonna grab out, don't you love how these are kitted? I hope they made it in the mail to you in perfect little piles, because our team worked really hard to make such cute piles. But then, you know, things get tossed around in the mail. So then you have 4 flower centers in each one. So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 in each pile. To me, you have really good appliqué when you're nice and organized, right?
I think that's true about any project.
Right? I was like, we're missing one. It's right there. Now with our flowers, if you take a look, you can see that this block and this block are the same, right? And they have the dark blue and the pink print flowers. So I know that I'm gonna have 2 piles with 2 dark blues, and then I'm gonna have 2 piles with the coordinating pink that goes with it. And then I know that my other block is that light blue and the orange. So let's go on and make our piles for that. And then we have our leaves. And so we are going to use our placement guide to separate these because they're very similar, I must tell you. Or maybe they're all the same. Let's check.
I think they're all the same.
Are they all the same? Let's just do a little check. They are. Oh, y'all, this is so easy. Okay, so 4 in each pile. I just had to double check. It's always nice to use your placement guide if you're in doubt to check that you have the right pieces in the right place. So now I typically don't write the numbers on my pieces anymore, but I'm gonna do that in this video because I want you to be able to be an expert appliquer, even if this is your very first appliqué project. So what you have first in your pattern, you have a reverse of each appliqué piece. So if you ever wanted to use this again, you would be able to trace directly onto your fusible these pieces. But we don't need that because you got all your pre-fused laser cut appliqué pieces already. Another thing that we like in our patterns is full-size placement guides. And so all you simply do is line them up where your pieces overlap, and then you'll want to grab a little bit of tape. Use a tape that you can lightly iron over, like a painter's tape. Don't do Scotch tape, or iron outside of where you're going to iron. But now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to sit down, and I'm going to start with piece number 1. And what I'm going to do is flip my pieces over. I'm going to grab my pigment pen, and I'm going to number my pieces so that I know where I'm going to put everything down. So my leaves are first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm also going to build a pile in numerical order. So once I have it numbered, I'm going to set it to this side. Now again, if you already know your pieces just by looking at it, you can skip this step, but I want everyone to be able to be a pro. So again, I'm going to give all the tips. So follow the numbers. Next is 5 and 6. These pieces are exactly the same. So 5 and 6. Now let's find number 7. So we are working with our pink and our blue. So we know that we're going to have 2 flowers opposite each other, correct?
Correct.
All right. And we know that each flower center is exactly the same. So now I can number these. So now I can say this is number 7. This is number 8. Then we're going to go where? Over here to the coordinating one to 9 and 10. So 9, 10. And again, I'm just making a pile in numerical order. And then we're going to go to our blue. We have 11 and 12. See how easy this is? It's basically applique with numbers. And then we have 13 and 14. So there are 14 pieces. And what I'm going to do, typically, you know, once you get really advanced, you can go on and peel all your backing off and know your pieces and have them in numerical order. I am going to peel them as we go, as we build our applique unit. So what I have now is a pile, 1 through 14 in numerical order, with 1 on top, 14 on bottom. So I'm going to set it to the side. Now with my placement guide, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn my light pad on. And what I have now, I'm going to put my placement guide underneath my fusing mat. Make sure it's nice and lined up. There we go. So I have my light pad, my glass mat, and now my fusing mat is going to go on top. Let me turn it the right way for you. So just center it right here. And now when you're ironing onto your fusing mat, you are only going to iron mostly where your pieces overlap. That's the only thing you want to do, because ultimately you're going to iron it onto your fabric. And if you do overexpose your fusible too long, it can quit sticking. I've personally never done that, and I iron quite a bit, but I just like to give the warning, you know, in case. So what we're going to do,
done that.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Mom's done it, then any of us can do it. But if you do it where you're only ironing where you overlap, you'll be fine. So again, I have piece number 1, and I'm going to put it right in place. Now I'm not going to iron this yet because, well, it's not adhering to anything yet, right? And what I love about this fusing mat is, see how if you need to reposition it, you really kind of have to pick it up and move it? That's because this is slightly tacky and it holds everything in place. So next we're going to do piece number 2. And see, I have my little trash bowl off to the side. Isn't that helpful? And again, this is my absolute favorite part of applique. And you'll see when we get to the next part to actually stitching, it's gonna go back over to Mom.
I like this part too. I like it all.
It really is all fun. There's just something about this.
I will have to say though, if I'm tracing like a new project I've been working on this week.
So many pieces.
So many pieces, and I traced and traced and traced because
you don't get the benefit of the...
I don't get the laser cut pieces for the originals.
The sample.
Yeah.
And a tip for getting your fusible off, if you're like, hey, she's going really fast with that. Fabric side up on any piece, just flip over and look, it instantly releases for you. And so this is number 5. So now look, we're going to have our first areas of overlap. We're just going to put this in place all the way across. And you just want to wiggle it in place. It's a long piece, so you might want to kind of like lay it in place as you go. There we go. Beautiful. And now we're only going to gently iron right here where it overlaps, and only, look at that, just for a second. And really you could use just the tip of your iron. I could see Mom kind of cringe at like full ironed. Mom likes to use just the tip of the iron. So there's a little bit of, I'll do it just the tip of the iron on the next one.
Especially if I'm using a larger iron too.
Yes.
And that's why having a small iron to do applique is really nice. It makes it a little bit easier, I think.
I personally can't live without my little steam fast travel iron. I use it on everything, not just applique or embroidery machine applique. I use it all the time. Okay, so now I'll do it how Mom does it. See, you're just taking the tip right there and applying the heat only there.
Because you want it to stick to be able to pick it up.
Yes.
Later.
It's gonna be magic. So now we're over here to pieces 7 and 8. So 7 is our pink flower. Remember, we have it numbered.
And it's really nice since Brittany has them in numerical order on the side. She knows which one to pick up next.
And you don't, what I love too about that is you don't accidentally put, like especially when you have something intricate with over and underlapping pieces, you don't want to accidentally put the wrong piece down first. So I'm gonna stand up to get this little guy in place. He kind of wiggles. So I'm just gonna start on one end and work my way over. And you can see now he's in place. I'm gonna go on and put piece number 8 down, and then I'll iron. So number 8, and
oh, I have a tip as well.
let's hear it.
So
Should I iron yet, or are you gonna do the tip
No,
first?
I can talk. You can
Okay.
iron at the same time. When you have something like the center of these flowers and you number them, you might want to draw an arrow for which way goes up.
Yes, let me show you what she's talking about. So this shape, it could go that way or that way, but if you know that it's gonna go out like that, when you're numbering it, you could say, okay, I'm gonna point to the outer corner. And so you would draw your arrow like this so that you know. This is especially helpful when you're working with flowers that all kind of look alike or pieces that are really similar.
I use it all the time. I'm just so much in the habit, I do it on everything, really.
Oh, look, I started talking about it and I almost put it down before my piece number 9.
Yep.
And I almost put it in the wrong spot. We're going down here to 9 and 10. We're doing the coordinating colors first. So just start by getting one little leaf in place, and then just slowly work your little.
And the floppier a piece is, the more particular you need to be as your placement,
Yes.
because you can flop around a little bit.
So give yourself the time. You know, you're not in a hurry doing this. Take the time to get your pieces in the right spot. Oh, look, I hit him out of position. There we go.
And one thing that's also helpful is to have a pair of tweezers.
Yes, if you want to
So you
have
can
tweezers to
Just
sort of
lightly manipulate, it kind of helps.
And I will say you can be a little more delicate with your tweezers or with your 4-in-1 tool. I find especially helpful as well because it essentially does the same thing.
You can use the little awl end of it.
Yes, the all end.
All in.
All in. Oh, look, I moved him.
Ruh-roh.
You stay there, little guy. You also fully allowed to talk to your applique pieces. All right, so now, and when I pressed that, I did put my whole iron down because I wanted to hit here, here, and here are the main areas that you want to make sure stick together. So now we're going to jump over to the top right corner with pieces 11 and 12. So let's peel right here. And then let's start working our magic. And it's so much fun. And my favorite part is coming up where we get to pick up the whole thing as one unit. So cool.
It's kind of like when I was a kid, there was a toy, which I don't know if they still make it or not, but I think it was called Color Forms. And it was different shapes that you could put around and make into different things, but they were like kind of like vinyl maybe, I don't know what they were.
Were they
made out of.
numbered or?
No, they weren't numbered. They were just things to play with. It's kind of like maybe started my love of applique. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. That's where it started. Not all the sewing you did. So I'm just ironing that little guy together, and now we're on our final flower already. Doesn't this go quickly? So this is piece number 13.
Isn't that just so cute?
It's so cute.
I love it.
And I have to tell you, it doesn't matter. Like if you would have put blue here and blue here and pink here and pink here, it doesn't matter because when you turn it in your quilt, it doesn't matter. So just wanted to let y'all know if you're like, I put blue here.
And surely you can just mix them up however you want.
You could do, like you have 4 different colors, you could do 4 colors on each block if you wanted.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. We have no quilt police at Stitches of Love. Mom's very adamant about that.
You can do it however you like.
Exactly. Sometimes we'll get emails and be like, is it okay if I do that? We're like, it's your quilt. Do it.
Of course.
Just share a picture because we want to see how cute it looked. There we go. So that little guy is in place. And now our final piece, number 14, is going to go down. And now when I iron this in just a second, oh my gosh, so cool.
And look how quickly this was done.
It really does go quick. And this goes on the pink jar fabric, I believe. Yes, not pink jar, pink diamond, excuse me. So what we're gonna do now is lift our entire unit, and then we're gonna remove our fusing mat, put our fabric in place, and iron this down. So you would wanna, first off, go on and create all 4 units. I'm just gonna do one in the video because they're all the same.
The other 3 blocks.
Exactly, your other 3. So to peel it off, I have to sit down to reach it. You just want to be gentle, and I like to start with the coldest one, if you will. So we're just going to start, and you just very gently peel. And look at that. Is that not the coolest thing ever?
Brittany, where's your pink fabric?
Oh, I think I might have put it in a drawer behind me.
What room?
Oh no, it's on the floor.
I can't get there.
That's okay, everybody. The magic of camera. I'll pause in a second, and I'll get my fabric.
Do you want me to hold this for you?
Well, let me show the unit. I gotta show everybody the unit. Look at this. Oh, I didn't iron in the middle. Hilarious.
Oh no.
But that's okay. Look, I'm gonna put it back in place. I never did press my iron in the center, y'all. So iron right here in the center. And then you gotta do a shake. To cool it off.
You can lay it up here on this stick.
And there we go. Well, no, I don't wanna put it on that because I don't wanna ever iron that. So look, you have a unit just like so. So you're gonna be very gentle with it. You're gonna lay it to the side. Now gather your fabric and let's get ready to iron it in place. So now I have my fabric, and like I mentioned, we're gonna take our fusing mat away. I'm gonna hand it to Mom. Would be nice if you had an assistant sewing with you too, huh? I'm usually Mom's assistant, so it's nice when every now and then she's my assistant for just a second. So I'm gonna lay this down. Remember, we cut 14 inches. That's way more than we need. So all you wanna do right now is make sure that your fabric is going past the outer line on your placement guide. See? So it's all the way past it on all 4 sides. And again, what I have now is my light pad and my applique glass mat. So simply take our little floppy unit and let's get ready to put it in place. So I'm just gonna start by lining it up here. There we go. And just be very gentle with your little piece the whole time. And then come across right here. And see how it's just a perfect fit? Because we made it on the same placement guide. And now this little guy, right in place, like so. And so if you made a mistake, you've already caught it, right? And so when we put this into position here, we know it is perfect. So what I'm gonna do is just anchor my piece a little bit in the center, and then I'm gonna iron 1 unit at a time. And so I'm just gonna work from the center out.
And it takes about 5 seconds of heat to get this to adhere to the fabric.
So what I like to do is give it like a kind of basic press on top of my glass mat, And then in a second, I get my Steady Betty out, and then I really give it a nice press. Isn't this easy?
Isn't it fun?
It is so much fun, and it's just so perfect. And it really doesn't take much time, I must say. So now, I'm done with my placement guide now, right? So I'm gonna get my Steady Betty, bring it right over, and now I'll do a real press to make sure everything is nicely adhered. And you don't want to drag your iron because you don't want to accidentally wiggle a piece, because while it's still hot, you could actually wiggle it. And that is one thing, if you do make a mistake, let's say when you're ironing it down on your fabric, just lightly touch the iron and you can gently peel it up with the edge of your tweezers or your 4-in-1 tool and reposition it. Now you can't do that multiple times, but you can get away with doing it once. Don't you think, Mom?
Or sometimes I'll use a needle to get under.
Yeah, to sort of lift the piece. There we go. So that's how easy building an applique unit and putting it on your fabric is. Was that great or what?
And isn't it cute?
So cute. So again, repeat that with all 4 of your units, just like it says in the pattern. So what we just did was steps 1 all the way through 10. So we're gonna have 4 total blocks. Now in the next video, we're gonna come back and we are gonna talk about stitching. So the next video will be picking your stitch, and then after that will be the actual stitching. Happy stitching!